All right. Hello, everybody. It's Dave Lackford with CardinalSports.com. This is the Louisville football recruiting chat. And I wanted to do this yesterday, but, the big news came out about Scott Satterfield actually interviewing for the South Carolina job after he said he wasn't going to do it. And then, of course, that caused some drama, just to put it mildly. And I wanted to wait a little bit till things kind of shook out, if you will, before I started this chat. And I know a lot of you think that this is going to impact the recruiting class. People might flip. I really don't foresee that happening at this point in time for a number of reasons. First of all, Satterfield went on the record yesterday once the news broke that he did, in fact, interview at South Carolina. And he said that he had a meeting with all the recruits. I don't know if he did it on an individual basis or it was kind of like a group chat, classroom type of deal where he spoke to all of them in mass. Not sure, but either way, he said everyone's good to go. And I've spoken with, some sources who they don't foresee anyone flipping at this point in time. They don't see anyone backing off their commitments. And if they did, when I spoke with them, they would have told me. So I think they're fine for now, but, a lot can happen. Today's the 5th, right? So the 6th, there's 9 days until signing day. So, things change fast, but one of the other reasons is a lot of these classes, since the pandemic hit and there were no visits, people have pretty much been locked in all over the country with a lot of different teams. Now, that doesn't mean there won't be any drama because there always will be. But I think that there's not a lot of movement to be had because I think a lot of people are full and you're going to have to see kids kind of getting their scholarship yanked. And I think that's I don't think that's going to happen in this situation because, some kids haven't even had seasons. There hasn't been a lot of in-person evaluation. So you're kind of I think coaches are kind of stuck with what they have. And as long as there aren't grade issues or a kid doesn't get in trouble, I don't think we'll see a lot of kids getting dropped from recruiting classes, maybe with some turnover. We saw South Carolina, for instance, we saw a lot of their kids decommit once Muschamp was fired, and a new coach might come in and say, you know what, we're not really, you're not going to fit what we do here. And Shane Beamer's coming in from, that's who everyone is expecting to be the next South Carolina coach. I spoke with our guy, Wes Mitchell at Rivals. He works for the South Carolina site. And he told me all along, back when the rumors first broke about Satterfield being a candidate for South Carolina, I asked him if this was a legit thing, who's their guy? And he said, they'll probably kick the tires on Satterfield because of the Carolina ties that he has, being at App State for so long. But he told me back then that Shane Beamer was the front runner for that job, and all indications right now seem to be that he is going to in fact be the Gamecocks' next head coach. So I don't want to get into how people should feel about Satterfield interviewing with South Carolina. I'm not here to tell anybody how to be a fan. I just cover recruiting. I try to deal with the facts. Gun to my head, I'd say, look, it's a business, and these coaches have value while they have value. He did not have a good season this year, and he has an agent who is all about making money and leveraging his clients to put them in position for raises. Will he get a raise here at Louisville? We'll see. But I understand the economics behind it. I'm not emotionally invested as a lot of fans are, so I don't get into all that loyalty type of talk. I'm looking at it from a business standpoint, and this is a business, but I get it. I get it. You don't want your coach coming in talking about family and starting a new program here and winning championships, and then 2 years in, he's all flirting with other schools and trying to leverage his contract. But anyway, it's not here nor there because he's staying. At least that's what he said. And I think that it's not going to have much of an impact on this signing period on this class coming in. So with that said, let's get into the chat real quick and see what's going on. The first question is from Louis III. He says, or Louis III, I think this is pretty obvious, but with all of the recruiting updates of our guys hitting the portal, he's talking about players on the team that have now hit the transfer portal. Are we saving those spots for any folks that hit the open market to fill gaps? I think we're up to 4 to 5. Okay, good question to start out with. It won't be a high school kid. I've asked recently, about a week ago, some people, what's up? Is there any more room for 2021 kids? Are they taking any more high school kids? The answer was no. For the most part, they're looking for grad transfers, not portal kids, but grad transfers. I see this on the board all the time. A kid that went to another school that Louisville was recruiting at one point in time hits the transfer portal, and everybody says, oh, we were recruiting him at one point. Look, let me tell you this. When a kid hits the transfer portal, it's because things didn't work out at that other school, probably because they weren't very talented and they couldn't crack the starting lineup or couldn't hit the 2 deep. Now, with a quarterback, it's a little different. Look at Justin Fields, for instance. That's the exception to the rule. But most of the time when coaches are looking for a transfer, they're looking for a grad transfer. That's someone who's already been through the system. If for whatever reason, they might have some playing time under their belt. They're already physically where they're at to hit the field. They're ready to contribute when they come in. So that's what you're looking for right now. That's what Louisville's looking for right now, is grad transfers. The numbers, I haven't looked because, I'm mostly focused on just high school recruiting. But I think that, and I don't know any of the grad transfer names. I know the positions. Somebody got with me on that. But the answer was kind of like just a shotgun approach to positions. I think they're looking at another QB. Okay, and I know that's everybody's going to want to know what? Like, a grad transfer QB means they're going to start right away. Look, that's what I was told, QB. Take that for what you will. O-line and D-line, maybe a wide receiver or a DB. I also heard they might be trying to get App State's quarterback. I don't know if that's Zach Thomas. I wasn't given a name, but Zach Thomas would be a big pickup. I don't know if he's eligible or if there's like a backup there, but keep your eye out on App State. I think it's Zach Thomas, but there you go. So, next question comes from Card Fan 59. There always seems to be a surprise or off-the-radar signee that comes out of nowhere. Last year, I believe it was Marquis Lowry. Do you anticipate that being the case this year as well? Now, Card Fan 59 is not asking me, do I know who it is? He's saying, will there be a surprise signee that's off the radar coming out of nowhere? Well, it's hard to anticipate a surprise because it wouldn't be much of a surprise, would it? But, if they don't get all the grad transfers and if some kid wants to jump on board that they really like, sure, it could happen. I don't anticipate it, but I wouldn't rule it out. Cardinal Cash asks, are all of the 21 guys holding firm as of now? Any late offers coming in like Purdy and FSU last year that we need to worry about? No, not that I have heard, all right? And I will tell you a list of kids that I've reached out to and asked, hey, what's up? You signing everything good? Ben Perry, number one, first and foremost. He said he's enrolling early, so he had that Oregon offer a long time ago. I don't foresee that being where he's going right now. I was told that everyone's solid, so I expect Ben Perry to be on board. I posted a little nugget about him earlier. Christian Peterson told me that he's not enrolling early, but he is signing on the 15th. Jalen Alderman told me he's not enrolling early, but he's going to sign, and then he'll enroll in June. He's the linebacker from out of Georgia. Vic Mullen told me that he's going to sign on the 15th, and he'll be enrolling in the summer. Travion Cooley is an early enrollee, and he'll be signing. So he's the big one everybody's worried about. With Jayhawk leaving, everybody wants Travion Cooley to come in and contribute right away as a freshman. And he definitely wants to do that. And he has that mindset. The kid is, some would say cocky. I would say, just confident. Confident kids coming in. Braylon Oliver said he'll be enrolling early. The safety from South Carolina, who's now at Hoff in North Carolina. man, I forget this kid's name. The receiver from St. Louis, I think his name's Cannon. He said he's enrolling early, so watch out for him. Connie Walker said that he'll be an early enrollee, so he's going to sign. Victwan Brown, who I really like, the defensive end down there in Georgia, Grayson. He will not be enrolling early, but he said he's good to go. 15th, he'll be signing. Jaloti said he'll be there in January, so he's an early enrollee. Derek Edwards told me that the DB out of Florida, he told me he'll be enrolling early. Michael Gonzalez is also an offensive lineman, North Carolina, enrolling early. Aaron Gunn said he'll be signing soon, but the 15th, but he won't be enrolling early. He's the D lineman out of, I believe, Pennsylvania. And those are all the guys who actually hit me back and said, yeah, I'm enrolling early. I'm pretty sure TJ Quinn is an early enrollee as well, the legacy safety. He'll be signing on the 15th as well. So from what I know, everyone is solid, and there's a lot of early enrollees, which is good. Jay Hectus asked me to buy stock in one of our current commits to sell in 3 years. Who am I buying? I am going to buy Victwan Brown, the defensive end. I think in 3 years he'll be a starter for sure, and I think he's a good player. He's got a good get off, decent bend, and a good motor. He just kind of has to get some reps, and I think he's going to be a very solid starter. Ben Perry for sure. I really like his versatility and length. I think he's a guy that can come in and contribute early at free safety or at the guard position. And Jadarian Williams, also just another one of those freakish type athletes, the position of need in the Louisville secondary, who I think sees the field early. I think those three guys have NFL potential, and they're on the defensive side of the ball where there is an immediate need. So I like those three as my guys to buy and hold until the stock is right. So those are my guys. Who has the best chance of starting from day one in this class? Jadarian Williams, Ben Perry, Travion Cooley. I think those three guys, because Cooley's going to have to step in, and it's with Hawk gone. Hassan Hall's back. Jalen Mitchell got some run. He looked good at times, but I think Cooley could break into that rotation as well. That was Card Fan 59. RH62531. We got to get you a new handle, man. It's a Russian bot name. RH says, this signing class have any plug and play players to cover those we are maybe losing from the senior class? Are there any to help repair the weaknesses we have as of now? I mean, those three guys I listed on the defensive side of the ball, I think can come in and play, and I don't plug and play. It's like, come on, that's like when you get a 5-star, we're talking about Miles Murphy or Brian Bresee at Clemson, they come in right away, or a Trevor Lawrence coming in, and even Trevor Lawrence, sat behind, whatever the kid's name, I think his last name was Kelly, whatever. Plug and play for a freshman is like, that's crazy. The plug and play will come from these grad transfers that'll probably come down the road. I think those are the ones that will jump in early. So that's what that is. H. Collett. Any update with Selah Brown or other local 22 guys? Selah says, he's still considering Louisville. I wrote the article saying he wished he had more communication with the staff. He said, it's pretty much the same. He's hearing from them. He's hearing from Missouri, South Carolina, but not anymore, I guess, because the coaching staff is gone, so that's probably out. But, Louisville's going to be in it to the end with Selah. They can put on the blitz if they want. Any other local 22 guys? Jadarian Smith, the defensive end from Ballard. Louisville's continuing to recruit him, and I think that they got a good shot with him. I think that with Keontae Goodwin, the thing is with him is it's all about fit and where he's going to get on the field early, and he kind of wants to stay close to home. So Louisville, Keontae can go where he wants to go. He's going to be fine. So, hopefully they pick up communication with him. But Louisville is going to be one of the top schools, going down to the end. I'm not saying he's going to go to Louisville, but, the family wants him to stay home. He likes Louisville. He wants to play here. And it's not like if he walks over to the football compound and goes up to Scott Satterfield's office and says, "Hey, I want to commit right now," and they haven't spoken to him for a month, I don't think they're gonna, kick him out of the office and say, "Nah, hold off." They're gonna take his commitment. So if Keontae wants to come to Louisville, come to Louisville. So don't lose heart there. I think that there's a good chance that Goodwin, could come to Louisville still. Where did this staff miss, position or specific player, in this 21 class? They missed on that running back who wanted to go to that was supposed to come here to commit, and then LSU jumped in. I forget his name. He's from Cincinnati. I'd say they missed there, but they recovered nicely with Cooley holding off Florida. And I think Duke was the other school. But, good job by them. Who else did they miss on? Jack Dingle really hurt. Him going to Cincinnati. They really liked Dingle. They wanted him in this class, but he chose to go, follow in his father and his brother's footsteps. So that's what that is. Any idea yet on who will be getting to campus early? Yeah, I just read that list off. That's Droms or 12 asked that, and I went through that list. MRP 7, what type of running back is Cooley? He looks like a big back. Is he a bruiser type of back all around? Also, how good is he? What is your honest opinion of him? Out of the backs we have, do we have a home run type of back like Hawk seemed to be? Look, Hawk is the kid who runs a 4.3 40. Or at least he did in high school. All right, he's fast. They're few and far in between when you come to running backs like that. Cooley is nowhere near as fast and explosive as Hawk is, but I think Cooley's a workhorse kid. I think Cooley's a guy he'll break a long run here and there, but for the most part, Cooley's going to be that 3-down back who's going to give you he's your horse, I think he's your main guy, and then you have other change of pace backs around him, especially with him getting here early, hitting the weight room, being able to bulk up. I do think that I wouldn't call him necessarily a bruiser, but I would say that he's got the body type to get it done and put the work in. When I think of a bruiser, I think of somebody, like James Conner from Pitt or the Rodriguez dude out of Kentucky, somebody like that. I think Cooley's more of a all-around type back, more so than just a bruiser type dude, So that's what that is. Mr. P7 says, what is your take on the MSU quarterback transfer? Is he a good option for U of L? What is your opinion of him as a quarterback? If you're talking about Mississippi State, that dude can't throw. Mike Leach moved him to a receiver. So I don't think they'll take him. He's a kid who's transferring because he was moved from the quarterback position by Mike Leach. So, if you just want to run the triple option or something with him as quarterback, cool, but you don't want that dude. Stop. Everybody loves these transfer players, man. Like, the dude got punched in the face before a bowl game by a linebacker. He obviously was annoying, man. And he got moved to receiver and then transferred out of the program. What's appealing about that dude? You got to stop window shopping all the time. Bardman, assuming they are pushing for the MSU transfer. They're not. They're not pushing for the MSU transfer. If they do, shoot me in the face. You know what I mean? Well, don't do that. Smack me in the face. But I haven't heard anything about this MSU quarterback transfer. I don't know where that comes from. Maybe the other site saying it. I don't know. But I'm not high on the dude. Come on. Lewis III. He just made a comment about Cooley, saying, man, this kid reminds me of the running backs that Wisconsin usually gets. I think he absolutely gets carries next year. Let's hope so. What's your thought on Louisville's linebacker class? We graduate Rajay, Dorian Etheridge, and C.J. Avery, so the opportunity is there for some of the younger guys to make a push. All right, so who's going to play linebacker is a crazy question, because they drafted so many like hybrid type players that, who knows which guys are going to get moved from safety. I heard Ben Perry's supposed to be playing the card, and I heard it's going to be Jadarian Williams, and so on and so forth. So it moves around a lot. So the Alderman kid from Georgia, Jalen Alderman, I don't know. I haven't seen or heard much about him. He's one of those commitments that just kind of came out of nowhere. So he's 6'1", 230. So I would assume he'd be like your middle linebacker guy. Jackson Hamilton is more of a safety, even though he's listed as a linebacker. So I don't know that he's going to be the linebacker there. Jadarian could play outside linebacker, and you know how I feel about him. I think he's really good. So I think that we're going to have to find out who's going to play linebacker before I can really get into all of that. Okay. But I mean, I guess the answer to your question is, I don't really think that the linebacker replacements are going to come right away from this class. And I think that's where you're going to want to, play the, you're going to want to play the grad transfer market. I know they really like the KJ Cloud kid. Cloyd, I don't know how to say his name, but I know they really like him, and they want to get him there. Remember, you still got Zay Peterson, okay, out of IMG, and you still got Cam Wilson coming up from the 2020 class. So I like those guys to come in, right? So maybe they're not from this class, all right? But I would look for a grad transfer there to replace that experience, and hopefully some of the 2020 kids can step up. There was also the kid in the 2019 class who blew his knee out on special teams. What was his name? Dorian Jones, all right? And they also have Alan Smith from the 2019 class. So they have replacements. They have people there. It's just you're going to have to see what happens during training camp next year. Jay Hectus, one more question, long-winded. Did some digging on the USC boards, the South Carolina boards. Say SCAR or USCE. USC is the Trojans. I don't care if South Carolina was first. Like when I say USC, you think Reggie Bush. You think Keyshawn Johnson, O.J. Simpson. You don't think freaking South Carolina, Steve Tannehill, Marshawn Lattimore. Anyway, this is a question about Satterfield, and he says the 24/7 publisher made a comment that someone currently on staff, I don't know if that's South Carolina staff or Louisville, said we can do more in recruiting, and felt the staff is slow to react, slow to reach out, and once a kid commits, we cease contact. I mean, that's not what I hear. I mean, they have their targets. They assess which players are likely to go there and which players are probably going to go to, the Ohio States of the world, Notre Dame's, and they do their due diligence, and then they react accordingly. I don't know what slow to react is. I mean, if it's a South Carolina staff member saying that, then that's a dude that's, recruiting in the SEC, which is 24/7, all day, every day, right? Satterfield staff came from App State, you know what I mean? They had to wait till everybody got picked over before, they could find the G5 kids. And it's a different beast in the SEC. So I think that if you're an SEC coach and you're saying that staff is, slow to act on things, then, of course, because they're not. It's a different game. You gotta recruit against Alabama, Texas A&M, LSU, Florida, Georgia. So if you have to constantly be recruiting there. The ACC is a little different. The SEC fills up first, and then the other schools. Big Ten. I don't know. I don't know what to say about that. I would say that they're doing what they do, for what they can do. And then he says, your article about Selah a few weeks ago even alluded to some of this. Well, that's different. I mean, they were one of the first to offer Selah. Selah hasn't committed. So, and commits say that the commits I talked to say they talk to the staff. So I don't know about once a kid commits, we cease contact. And they weren't slow to reach out to Selah. They were one of the first to offers, but he's in their backyard, and they weren't slow to react because they offered first. Slow to react, slow to reach out. I guess slow to react to like new developments or something. I don't know. Do you get the sense that a laissez-faire attitude in recruiting is holding the staff back? That, like, with some kids, I'm kind of like, well, why don't you go harder? But I think it's probably because they're like looking at it as if the kid's going to go to Alabama, Clemson, or Ohio State, and maybe they really don't have a shot, so they can't allocate a ton of resources, allocate a ton of time to the recruitment of those type of players, because they're just going to come up empty-handed if they do that. So I would say no. I don't think that a laissez-faire attitude in recruiting is holding the staff back. I just think that, you buy the items you have the money for, right? And they don't have Alabama money to buy, the top shelf stuff. I mean, it sounds harsh, but it's the truth. So I think they do fine. I mean, their class is straight this year. They filled a lot of needs. They got some good players. They're ranked in the top 30. They'll probably finish in the top 30 in the country. I mean, if you're an ACC school, finishing in the top 30 is about right where you should be every year, unless you're Clemson. Florida State back in the day. Miami's in Miami, so they're going to get kids. But, again, it's all about development fit as well. Get caught up in all the stars, because all the stars are going to the Bamas, Clemsons, Ohio States, Georgias, LSUs of the world. Okay, Louisville's not going to be getting the 5-star quarterback or the 5-star defensive tackle or 5-star receiver. That's just not the way this works. Okay, maybe in the future, but right now it's just not how it's going to go. I was going to end the chat there and this would be over, but then the news broke of Scott Satterfield interviewing with South Carolina. So I opened up the chat for more questions. And then Mr. P says, it seems ridiculous to speculate about recruiting right now, but let's just say things are normal today. AJ Duffy looks like a solid quarterback. Do we have a legit shot at him? And what is your opinion on him as a quarterback? I think that he's a decent quarterback. I think that he's got the skill set that Louisville wants. I think he's mobile. I think he anticipates well. I think he has a strong arm. I don't know. I haven't seen his junior film. I don't know if they even played this year. He's out in California. All I saw was his sophomore highlights. He's fine. He's a good player. I mean, he's ranked like 72nd in the country. I think that's a little lofty. He's like 6'1", 200. Could be a Sam Howell type, Do we have a legit shot? I mean, he's a California kid. So I always think that's a long shot. I don't know why I don't know what you're hearing about AJ Duffy. I think that they'll recruit him. I think they like him. But I know he visited Penn State not too long ago. I think it was Penn State. So, it kind of seems to me as if he has his eyes on, like, bigger schools. But, if other schools fill up, it would be a huge get for Louisville if they could get AJ Duffy. He would be that big-time recruit, the first real big-time recruit that Satterfield's landed. I think that Satterfield's only landed 2 4-stars so far, Jadarian Williams and Cam Wilson. So, it would be a big splash, for sure. Sabers says, so obviously this news just dropped, but do you foresee this impacting our class? No, we already went over that. And if so, how many recruits do you think we lose? I mean, I don't think we lose any, but based upon this news breaking. I know someone down here is going to be like, did you reach out to the kids about the news? You don't want me to do that because these kids don't pay attention to stuff like you fans do. Like I consume content all the time, and so do the fans. But the kids, man, they're playing 2K. They're talking to their girlfriends. They're working out. They're enjoying life. They're young. They're not sitting there looking at every single story that breaks on the news. Half of these kids, when they had that meeting with Satterfield, probably didn't even know that he interviewed for South Carolina. And I talk to kids all the time, and they'll be like, dang, what? What do you mean he interviewed with South Carolina? So I don't want to be the person that brings that to these kids' attention, and I don't think you fans want me doing that either. So I'm not getting into that. Give me the Dave ideal candidate to replace Satterfield. Urban Meyer. Sat's staying though. DJ 5817. I'd imagine that 90% of the class will reopen their recruitments. You think that 90% of the commitments that Louisville has right now could just reopen their recruitment 9 days before signing day or 10 days yesterday and find a new place to play or wait until February? Most of these schools are full. Most of these schools got players at their position. No. I'd be shocked if they lost 3 kids. Shocked. I could see 1 or 2 because that's just the nature of this beast, right? And I'm not saying I know that's happening because I've been told everything is fine. No, they don't expect anyone to flip, okay? But come on, 90% of the class. Look, this wasn't even a national story. Let's be serious. Like, people in Louisville were pretty pissed off, and it was all over, Louisville Twitter. But nationally, I mean, I didn't even hear anything about it until I think the Florida game, and the guy that was doing that show, whatever game it was, and whatever commentator was basically saying, when do you have a chance to make $30 million guaranteed, blah, 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 in life? Like, you can't get mad at this dude for interviewing. And I was like, it's a hard point to argue against, and I'm a lawyer. And then DJ 5817 says, even if Satterfield were to stick around, we probably lose a few. Remains to be seen, man. Like I said, I don't see it happening. I was told they're fine, but it is recruiting, and things change fast. So I wouldn't be surprised if 1 or 2 kids kind of backed off, but I mean, who? I don't see who's even going to leave. I don't know. Shonda 97 says, where will Cooley, Perry, and Williams go to school? LOL. Safe to say, not here. Come on, S Honda 97. You always try to stir the pot, dude. Well, I guess since Sat is staying, how does the class react? Probably going to sign on the 15th. If Wandale does transfer from Nebraska, which do you think is more likely, Kentucky or Louisville? Kentucky, and he's not transferring. He's staying in Nebraska, so that's a moot point. But he's not going to come to Louisville. He's going to end up at Kentucky if he goes anywhere because that's where he's committed to before. He's familiar with the staff. But he's not – he caught 9 balls for 144 yards yesterday. They finally figured out how to get him the ball as a receiver. A lot of those catches were downfield. So he's not transferring. I mean, I talked to his people – not frequently, but I could call him right now. I would know if something was brewing. There's nothing brewing. It's just the annoying rumor that happens every year around Christmas when one of these Kentucky homers starts talking about, Wandale Robinson might transfer to Kentucky. Hey, look, man, Wandale's going, right? Kentucky pushes it. No, that's somebody talking. Eastern Kentucky Chow. Additionally, is there any truth that Jack Dingle may be interested in staying home? That's news to me, man. I don't know where you guys hear these rumors from, but I haven't heard that. And like I said, they're looking for grad transfers. Now, is there any truth to that rumor? I haven't heard it. If he wanted to come back, would they take him? Yeah, probably. Cardinal Cash, yeah, my main interest is, do you think we lose anyone from this Satterfield debacle? I don't know if I would call it a debacle. I would call it as market economics and a market actor being rational within said market. No, I don't think so. Maybe, but not. It's not going to be earth-shattering. I mean, I could be wrong. I'd be shocked, but I just don't see where a lot of these dudes are going to go. So I think that they're fine. I think Louisville's fine. I think that this is just a emotional, justifiably so, justifiably emotional fan reaction to think that, the sky's falling. Lifelong Card asked for updates on Selah and Goodwin, Keontae and Selah Brown. I spoke on that. I think that, both kids are still in play. And I think that there's going to be some competition. It's not going to be an easy pool. They could go out of state for sure. Well, Keontae's already out of state because he's in Indiana now. But I think that Louisville is in the mix for sure, okay, on both of those guys. Someone also asked me about Wimsat because of something about that Mississippi State quarterback. I've been reaching out to Gavin. He's been, responding kind of, not as much as he used to, but I think Wimsat's the type of kid who, is he's looking like a big time guy. And Notre Dame could be problematic there for Louisville, and some other big schools could reach out to him. I mean, this dude's ranked 50th in the country, but Louisville has a shot, but I think that he might be one of those too big of a fish to get in the boat, if you know what I mean. And Saturday is for the boys. Last question. He says, I know the staff generally doesn't start to full court press on the next class until after the season, but what is the update on Selah and what are our chances with Duffy? I'll tell you, man, you guys are on this Duffy kid from California. I don't know, man. I got to look into it. I'll see if I can reach out. I don't know, to be honest. This kid, like I said, visited Penn State. He's a big-time player. He's going to be a tough pull from all the way across the country for Louisville, for any school. I would expect, those West Coast schools to start kicking the tires, the Arizona States of the world and the Oregons and stuff like that. But I don't know, man. Like, everybody's talking about this guy. But I haven't heard anything about him being like some kind of, lean or anything like that. Let's see what articles were written about this dude because his name keeps coming up. So I'm assuming that somebody else in the Louisville recruiting industry keeps hyping him up as if, he's the guy they're going to get. It's last thing I got is AJ Duffy went to State College last month. He was supposed to cut his list back in October. Let's see here. Rivals thinks the top contenders for AJ Duffy are Miami, Penn State, Arizona State, Michigan State, and Oregon. So I don't think I'd write AJ Duffy off, man. If I'm being honest. I hate to be a buzzkill for y'all, but I just don't see it. They'd be better off putting their energy in with Gavin Wimsat, if you ask me. So that's where that is. So that's it for this recruiting chat. I will be back after signing day. Hopefully I'm back on here to say, look, I told you guys you were all worried for nothing. Look, everybody signed. It's over. Now I can work on 2022 because 2020 has been dead for a long time for me. And it's hard to write about recruiting news when there is no recruiting news. There was barely even a football season to speak of for half of these kids. So I didn't even, it's just hard times for all of us, man. But still plugging. So that's it. I'm going to upload this to YouTube and have it up for y'all. When I post it, feel free to ask any other follow-up questions. If I get a lot of responses and questions, I might do another one of these in between now and signing day. All right. But till then, everybody stay safe, stay healthy, and thanks for watching and subscribing. Peace.